Okay, är det good to go?
Sometime Alone.
So Sometime Alone is one of my favorite tracks on this album actually.
I think it's one of my favorites from the album.
This was a song that first came up when we started working on Devotion, but it was kind of like in the last minute, so we never really started to work on it.
Tuva sent the demo with the bass line and the drums and a song melody, and it felt very inspiring to work with.
It really had something.
Yeah, I think it's very good. I've listened to it so many times, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I did a mistake while editing and that turned out to be kind of cool. So we ended up sticking with that mistake basically, which was quite fun because it has this like very sampled drum-based patterns alongside with Nelly's fantastic vibe drums basically. So I think that turned out really cool.
And it was fun, and it reminded me like of all the times I've sat in front of MTV and like a Queen song or a Michael Jackson song has come up and you're just so mesmerized by the music video and the song itself.
Yeah, we just played around a lot, and I thought it had this Michael Jackson vibe to it. So we were walking around and like, oh!
I like that it's so naked. It feels like a very honest song somehow.
So when we started to work on this album, we all felt like, okay, this one is gonna make it.
It's a bit about being left alone to get some time to work on yourself and do whatever you want to or feel like you need to do.
Another thing about that song that I like a lot is the ambient guitars together with this very dry soundscape basically. Like those combinations are really nice.
And I also thought it was a lot of fun to play around with the vocals and the song melody and the lyrics, just not have short verses. It could be long and had variations and stuff like that.
The cover art for that single is a person with ghosts around her. I was thinking maybe it's the memories or the people in her life that she needs to get rid of. And she looks like a skeleton because I listen to a lot of Ghost while making it. So.
Du kan ju också klippa i, alltså, du får göra fan du vill.
This started as an idea with a toy synthesizer together with like these 80s sounding drums.
From what I can remember, it's one of the songs that was written quite early in the process of making this album, and something I do remember is also that we had this like it really didn't sound like it sounds now. It had this bass guitar instead of this synth bass line basically, so it had a whole other, like the rhythm of the song was very different.
It's like it has its own personality, it's really its own being on the album.
And I really loved it from the beginning. The song melody just came to me in an instant. But we had a really hard time to figuring out a chorus to this song. We tried many different things, and we even played it live for a couple of times during the last summer 2019.
Also we changed chorus on it for like 10 times or something like that. It was just like a really hard one.
So it was so tricky, but then Anders just came up with a genius idea to get rid of the synthesizers for the chorus part and just go all in dirty guitar. And that made a very cocky vibe to it. So it also changed the vocals and the song melody and the lyrics for the chorus as well. And then we really felt like that's it, there we have it.
We're struggling to make it work. But after a while worked.
The lyrics are about maybe being obsessed or in love with someone and wanting to be with them. Maybe it's a secret relationship. Maybe you're cheating. I don't know.
We aim for a really 80s sound on the drums. I really think we got that right, actually. I think that sounds really cool with that super 80s big lexicon reverb sound together with this very dry synth bass and on top of that tuba's vocals and synthesizers and stuff. I like it. Yeah!
Friends. I was a bit upset of Anders that he thought my synth arpeggio idea for another song didn't really fit and it was a bit too much. Oh, I need to show him that arpeggios can be really cool. So that's the start of Friends.
Freestyle. I listened to the demo. If I don't remember wrong, I think Tuva came up with the demo for that one, and it was one of those songs that sounded like like the song was there from the beginning, basically.
For Friends, Tuva had a demo with lots of arpeggios. I think it was pretty set in stone how the song was gonna be. I don't think we changed much. We removed some arpeggios because Anders thought it would be a little bit too much.
We added whistlings, which was kind of funny, but it turned out great. I think it's like the energy in the song. At the same time, it's quite slow. Like it takes forever to get to the chorus, for example. But I like it. Like I think it's a mature song. It's maybe not the most crowd-pleasing song, but that's also something I like with it. It has its own little universe.
The art I did for this single was two friends back to back, being sad or upset, and I wanted them to look like zombies, to reflect how their actions or words can kind of derange them or change them, but they're still beautiful and they're still human. I think no one is perfect, and you can always learn from encounters.
Beat Me is maybe the most beautiful song on this album.
My favorite song of the album. I also love playing this live, and it makes me so sad that we can't be out touring right now. But perhaps in the future.
Me and my sisters grew up in like a violet household, you could say. So I had that in the back of my mind when we worked on this song. And I think the lyrics are like a little reflection of that in my head, my contribution to it at least.
I really like the lyrics a lot, and I love the main synthesizer. The sound and the feeling of that is just amazing, I think.
The synthesizers from the demo recording is the same that we kept for the final version, and I love it when we do it like that. Keep demo recordings. I think it's fun and adds a nice spice.
I'm glad that it came on this album and not previous ones, because I think it's very mature in a way. I think the lyrics are very well written. I can't imagine how it would sound if it would be on our first album, because we were teens or like kids when we wrote most of the songs for that one, and now we're actually adults.
In the demo version, I remember I sang the first line, something like you can meet me by the broken line. It wasn't a word, but when Nelly heard it, she said, it really sounds like you can meet me by the parking lot. That sentence set the stage for the whole song, like being about something concrete, but yet still a metaphor for something. I'm thinking about dysfunctional relationship But I love the lyrics and I love the song.
Sometimes I get like very vivid images to songs or sounds, and for this one I could really picture like a movie scene where there's a man just beating himself up, like really beating the living shit out of himself. For the cover, the song I chose, A Vampire. I think they are very like elegant and proper, but they're still very violent.
Den är ju skitbra.
I think this might be my favorite song of the album. But it's very hard to choose.
Heaven knows how far I've gone. I really love this song also. I think it certainly has its place on the album. I can hear like trip hop influences in it. I think it was Anders who went all in on his MPC to get that beat, but it's very fun.
This one was really fun to produce actually, because it, like the demo was quite raw, like there was like it was quite unfinished maybe, and it felt like there was room to do crazy things with that song.
When we worked on it and Anders had laid this trip hop drum beat in the end of the song, we felt like this is so cool, but can we really do this? And then we thought, of course we can do it, we can do whatever we want.
So I dug up this old MPC 3000, which I actually borrowed from my friend Matt Carmel, and played around with that a little bit, and found some really interesting things on that sampler to that song.
I really love the subtle fourth of the floor bass drum in this song. I think it really adds some energy, a dark energy. And I love the fact that it's about feeling belief, but what belief it is up to the listener.
I just think of like the first fallen angel and how that would feel like in a perfect world to be the dirty one, almost like the only thing around you that has some darkness in it. And this song was actually the song that inspired the album art. So I really enjoyed having something to listen to and translating that into something with images or like into an artwork.
Yeah, it differs from the other songs on the album. Like it's one of those where we really put it like far out to another genre almost. But I'm proud of it. I think we all are actually. I really like it, even though it's different from the other songs.
I really love it.
I think this is how I remember it. I'm not sure if it's true, but this is really how I remember this song. And it started off with that we always, like on sound checks, we always made like internal jokes with each other. So I often played or tried to play Thunderstruck by AC/DC on my guitar, that riff, and then I have this memory where like Tuva, I was playing that, or trying to play that, and Tuva was kind of doing the same thing, and we just ended up with that main riff somehow. And then I have another memory that we actually are in our rehearsal room and we play this, and it feels like it's one of those songs that writes itself. Like the bass line was there instantly, but it was just there. And I think the whole song was like that basically. I remember we changed some vocal melodies and stuff in the end, but to me, I think that's one of the songs that was just like it wrote itself.
We were rehearsing for a tour. I don't remember which one, but I think it was in the winter of 2017. and 2018. And a thing that Anders do when he don't know what to do with his hands, or he just waits for something and he has a guitar in his hands, he plays Thunderstruck by AC/DC. So there he was, standing on his two legs, snapped his neck. So there he was, playing Thunderstruck, and me and Ellie just played with him, and we left Thunderstruck just jamming around, which we don't normally jam around, but this time we apparently did this. And then just Killer Scene rose up.
I really long to see Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon again. I think it has like some beautiful shots, and also thinking about like Kill Bill, any Quentin Tarantino movie, because it's bloody. They all are. And it has my like, it's inspired by my WoW character, which is like a reborn dead human that has like this, even though it's a walking corpse, it has like this insane strength.
I think it's very fun to think it was born out of Thunderstruck.
I think this was a really hard one. Like the sounds and the song itself had always been there, like from a demo. I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. I think it was hard to come up with lyrics for it, or like some kind of inspiration besides just sounds. I can't quite remember what the others thought of it, but it was one of those songs that made me feel very anxious and bad at being a musician. And it wasn't until like I finished American Horror Story Apocalypse, I think it was, where they have like witches and like Satan's spawn or something, and there's a nuclear war going on. Lots of things. I love American Horror Story. So I finished that season, and then I started writing some lyrics for Bad Thing, because I just loved like the character that Cody Fern played.
I think that was one of the songs that we wrote when we were in a cabin in Småland in Sweden. We spent a couple of days renting an old house and basically building a rehearsal space there, and just played throughout the nights. And as far as I can remember, actually that song was written there, like, and I think also that's why it sounds so live, because it's basically more or less that we recorded it like that for the album later, to keep that live feeling on it.
The day before we were gonna release the album, I finished the artwork for this song. I didn't know what to do, but I made like some kind of stitched up figure bird vulture person, and I just thought it would work really nice. It's, I don't know, to me it's a song about some kind of witchcraft, or trying to feel better or different, or being someone else, but you can't. It's impossible, and trying to accept that or break out of it.
Feels like one of those songs that, like, it could honestly be on our very first album. Like, it fits on that album, and that's something I like with it. I think that's a part of what we've been doing for so many years now, like the development of Pale Honey. So I like that we still have those old influences with us as well.
Bad Thing. I've had my ups and downs with this song, but I really like the soft vocals in the chorus and the whispering. We never tried that before. And the very long, like, build up to the chorus that just explodes. So I think it's cool. I'm glad it ended up in the album. I think Set Me Free is really playful.
Actually, it was more or less by accident. I was playing around with a synthesizer that I have, and I just accidentally found a sound that sounded like the absolute dance music albums from the early 90s, and I liked it. And
I remember that we really liked it as a demo, and it's one of those songs where we thought it was everything we did felt a bit illegal.
It's like our version of Alice DJ's Better Off Alone, because we listened to it a lot at the time. And I like it because music should be fun. Everything mustn't be so pretentious.
Set Me Free is one of my favorite songs on this album. I remember when me and Nelly were recording the drums for that one, because we did record it over and over and over and over again to just find the right vibe for it.
I got to play like the intro, fill, or whatever on drums over and over and over and over again to find the right one, and I don't really play drums like that, but it was interesting.
And suddenly she got the perfect take basically, and I think it's like really amazing drum playing on that one, I have to say.
I love that we had courage to toss in these 90s EDM synthesizers.
We kept asking ourselves, can we do this? Like, can we have a disco beat? I don't know. It was just a lot of question marks that we just went with.
That we played this for a friend of ours called Matt, and he was actually the one that said you maybe should get these like chorus synthesizers on there, like these really catchy synthesizers. So we did, and it turned out great, I think. Good song.
A lot happens in that song, and it's very fun for me at least to play that because I actually get tired in my legs from playing it. It has a gong in the end of the song, and I don't have that line, but that is a bit sad.
It's fun to play live, but it's a bit tricky for me since I switch between guitar and my synth. Sometimes I feel like really stuck with my position, but sometimes really get the groove also. So it's fun to play live.
Trouble is one of the songs that was written like very early in the process of making this album.
I really love the lyrics that Tuva came up with, like trouble is the only thing I know, and hearing that over and over again.
I remember that Tuva sang that, and that for me basically made the song, that feeling is transferred into the sounds of the song.
I sat in my old apartment, which I rented for only a couple of months, and I had everything in piles. Paper, clothes, stuff. And I had this sentence that just kept on repeating in my head. It was a thought and it was a feeling that I couldn't get rid of. I tried to play some guitar to it and just repeatedly sang, "Trouble is the only thing I know." And then I sent it over to Nelly and Anders, and they both loved it. When we rented this cabin in the woods where we went to write music, we worked on it together, and it really fell into place when we played it all together. I especially love Nelly's drums on this song. I think it just made it perfect.
I just play the same drum beat like over and over again, and I remember being very, very anxious that week. Very, very anxious.
I listened to the demo of that song the other day. That actually the stuff we recorded in the forest in the cabin, and it's more or less exactly the same as the production we ended up with. Like we put on some bit more heavier Oasis guitars maybe.
It feels like we are always gonna have a song on each album that has something to do with a number. And this one was 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Maybe this is my favorite song of the album.
I've actually cried to this song listening to it when it's been recorded. It feels very personal.
For me, the lyrics is about a specific moment in my life. Even if something that happens to you is good for you in the end and you feel grateful for it afterwards, it still can be hurtful. And that is what the song means to me.
I think we all have some personal traumas that we've been through, and I think it's all like filtered down in this song.
3 a.m. is an ending song of the album. I think it's a beautiful song. I think it's different from the other songs on the album, and that's also one of the reasons why I personally like it. It has its place on the album basically.
When I tried out the vocals at home for this song, I went into my bathroom because it was in the middle of the night and I didn't want to wake anybody up. So I had to sing really quiet in the bathroom. Yeah, it was a nice feeling to it when we heard it afterwards. So we tried to keep that when we recorded the vocals in the end for this song. Nelly and Anders making me super relaxed so I could sing super soft. And I think it's a beautiful song.
There's a dark feeling over it. Don't know.
I really think it's a beautiful one.
If I don't remember wrong, we actually put on this old pump organ that I have in the studio, which is a beautiful instrument. And that organ has been, from the very first Pale Hand record, it's been on a couple of songs. So it's been on all the albums and it had a place on this album as well. And I'm happy about that.